once again, you had some good comebacks and stuff. There's been a lot of comebacks this year, I feel like there's been a lot of like late second wins this season, early on too. But anyway, Giants beat up on the Eagles in the Meadowlands. No, MetLife Stadium. 34-17. Eagles dropped 2 in a row. They're 4-2. Giants 2-4. Hurts 283, a TD, a pick. He sacked 3 times. 58 yards rushing by Barkley. Hurts runs for a TD, of course, because he's always stealing TDs. Barkley would have like 40 touchdown rushing TDs. Goddard, 9 catches, 110 yards and a TD. A.J. Brown has 80 yards receiving. A.J. Dillon loses a fumble. They get sacks from Jordan Davis and Patrick Johnson. The kicker hits his 1 field goal and both extra points. Dart, 195 yards, a TD, no picks. He sacked the 2 times. Scatbo, 98 yards rushing, 3 TDs. Dart throws in 58 rushing yards and a TD as well. They run for 172 yards as a team. Robinson has 6 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. They get 2 sacks from Brian Burns, another sack from Mouso or something. Flott has a pick for 68 yards. Their kicker is 4 of 5 on extra points. No field goals attempted. On to the Sunday games. Denver versus the Jets. This was the early game. Very early. Well, not. It was 9:30. Because this one was in London, once again, like in the other video I talked about. I apologize to the people over in England for that embarrassment of an offensive display. It was a defensive performance by both teams. I know some of these international games they play end up being just... They get some really good ones in there. But man, they get some awful ones. Obviously, we get awful ones here too all the time, obviously. But it's funny that I feel like 80% of the games that are played outside of this country end up being just slog bore fests with like no action. Denver beats the Jets 13-11. Denver won this one kind of late with a field goal. Denver is 4-2. The Jets are 0-6. When did Denver get that last field goal? Oh no, it wasn't late. It was 5:06 in the fourth. The only touchdown was by Nate Atkins. I'll get to this though in a minute. Bo Nix, 174 yards, TD, no picks. He sacked once. They run the ball 78 yards. Dobbins has 40. They don't run well here. Neither team does much. Engram, 42 yards receiving for the Broncos, lead the way. I said Atkins has the touchdown. Troy Franklin loses a fumble. Denver had 9 sacks. They lead the league in sacks, and I think they just padded that a little bit stat here. They're averaging like 5 or 6 sacks a game. Get a half sack from Brandon Jones, 1 from Benito, 1.5 from Strad, 1 from Hufanga, 2 from Cooper, 1 from number 96, 1 from Zach Allen, 1 from Franklin Myers. We get no picks or fumbles. Lutz goes 2 for 2 on his field goals, and he hits his extra point. Justin Fields, 45 yards passing, but it was really -10 because of the lost sack yards. He sacked it 9 times. Breece Hall runs for 59 yards on 22 carries. Josh Reynolds, 25 yards receiving to lead the way. They get a sack from Johnson. Nick Folk is 3 of 3 from field goals. They did have a safety as well, the Jets. It was just I I think it was 10-6 after the first quarter, too. So you're like, okay, some points are being scored here today. And then they score 8 points the rest of the game. Both teams. Oof. As they say, a win's a win, but man, Denver's offense needs, like, Bo Nix needs to start. It starts with the play calling, too. I know Peyton calls a lot of these freaking checkdowns and screens. They need to start opening something up because you can't hope to win 13, 11 games every week. Even though they have popped, some points here and there, but their offense isn't clicking, as they say, in my opinion. But they're 4-2. Steelers beat the Browns 23-9. Cleveland's 1-5. Steelers are 4-1. Gabriel 221, no TDs, no picks. He sacked 6 times for the Browns. Judkins 36 yards rushing to lead the way. Fannin Jr. 81 yards receiving. They're just not good, the Browns. No sacks for them. Their kicker is 3 for 3. He's the only one who provides points. Aaron Rodgers, 235, 2 TDs, no picks. Nice little game for him. Warren, 52 yards rushing. DK Metcalf having a nice year, 95 yards receiving and a TD. Connor Hayward has the other TD. They get 2 sacks from Jalen Ramsey. Isn't he the cornerback? Yeah, wow, giving up 2 sacks to the corner. I mean, I know corners get sacks from time to time, but 2 in a game. Half sack from Watt, a sack from Harmon, half sack from Highsmith, 2 sacks from Herbig. Their kicker's 3 of 4 from field goals, and he hits his extra points. Just another game. Here's a fun one. I was hoping the Dolphins would win this game, but they blew it late. Chargers beat the Dolphins 29-2017. That was a last-second field goal. They were up with the Dolphins scored to take the lead with like 46 seconds left. And then Herbert gets out of I don't know how this guy doesn't. I mean, Herbert looked as big as this guy trying to get the sack. But he gets out of that sack and throws a pass to McConkey, and he makes a little move, and he gets down deep, and they win the game. Dolphins are cooked, as they say. We're eating Dolphin tonight. Chargers 4-2. Dolphins 1-5. Herbert 2 touchdowns, no picks. He sacked once, 264 yards. Vidal runs for 124 yards on 18 carries. McConkey 7 catches, 100 yards, a TD. That Vidal guy has a TD, the other receiving TD. Gadsden the second. Oronde Gadsden the second. I remember him. He was a receiver on the Dolphins, wasn't he? Fumbles once and loses it. They get 1 sack from a guy whose name I can't pronounce, number 45. They get picks from James Jr., Jefferson, and St. Just. The last pick was at the end of the game. It was like a throw-up or something. Their kicker goes 5 for 5 for field goals and 2 extra points. 1 pick, 3 TDs, 205 yards. Waddle gets in there with 1 pass for 8 yards. He sacked it 2 times. Number 28, whose name I say right and then wrong. 128 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. 95 yards receiving for Waddle. Waller has the receiving touchdown. The sack comes from Grant. Their kicker is 2 of 3, so he did miss a field goal at some point. I don't know how long it was. And he hits his extra points. Dolphins are kind of done. They needed that win badly. The impressive Pats are 4-2 now, beating the 1-5 Saints 25-19. May, 261 yards passing, 3 TDs, no picks. He sacked once. He also rushes for 28 yards to lead the way. Stevenson had 13 carries and 18 yards rushing. Boot, 93 yards receiving, 2 TDs. Douglas, 71 yards receiving and a TD. They get sacks from Jones and Landry III. Their kicker is 1-1 from his field goals, 2-2. Spencer Rattler, 227. No TDs, no picks. He sacked twice. Kamara, 31 yards rushing. Olave, 98 yards receiving. Johnson loses a fumble. Warner has the sack. Their kicker's 4 for 4 for field goals with a long of 54. He was producing points. And he hit his extra point. Rams beat the Ravens 17-3. The Ravens continue to just without Jackson. I would assume he didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say he did not play. Rams at 4-2. Baltimore's 1-5. They are kind of finished. Stafford a touchdown, no picks. He sacked twice, 181 yards. Williams 50 yards rushing and a TD. Higbee 40 yards receiving and a TD. Stafford fumbles twice and loses one. 2 sacks from Young, a sack from Verse, and a sack from Merchants, and they get a pick from Lake. Their kicker is 1 of 2 from field goals, 2 extra points. Cooper Rush, 72 yards passing, out and pick, no TDs. Then they bring in Huntley, who has 68 yards passing, no TDs, no picks. He is sacked 4 times. Henry, 122 yards rushing, which is still kind of impressive because they were just straight up stacking the box to stop Henry. Flowers, 46 yards receiving to lead the way. Rush and Flowers both lose fumbles. Half sack from Simpson, half sack from Buchanan, and a sack from Jenkins. 1-1 for the field goal from their kicker. Another late win. I think it was a late win. Let me make sure. Look at the old scoring plays. Pretty late. But Colts beat the Cardinals 31-27. Colts 5-1. Cardinals 2-4. Oh, what's his name's hurt? Murray. Brissett has 320 yards passing, 2 TDs and pick. He sacked twice. Bam Knight, great name. 34 yards to lead the way. He does have a rushing touchdown. Jones, 79 yards receiving. McBride has a receiving TD and 72 yards. And Dortch has the other receiving TD. They get a sack from Browning. They get a pick from Mac Wilson Sr. Their kicker's 2 for 2 and 3 for 3 on his extra points. Daniel Jones for the Colts. 2 TDs and a pick. He sacked once, 212 yards. Jonathan Taylor, nice game, 123 yards and a TD. Jones has a rushing TD as well. Tyler Warren, 63 yards on 6 catches and a receiving TD. Downs has a receiving TD as well. 2 sacks from Pay. And that's it. Blackman has the pick. Their kicker is 101 with a long of 45 and 4 of 4 on his extra points. Seahawks beat the Jags 20-12 to go to 4-2. The Jags are also 4-2. Darnold, 295 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. He sacked him once. They only run the ball for 60 yards and 26 carries, with Walker the third leading the way with 34. Number 11, 8 catches, 162 yards and a TD. Cooper Kupp has a receiving TD as well on 40 yards. Barner has 71 yards receiving. Drake Thomas with a sack. Lawrence with 2 sacks. Williams with a half a sack. Murphy the second with 2 sacks. Number 7, Nwosu, a sack and a half. No picks. Their kicker's 2 of 2, the long of 53, and 2 of 2 on the extra points. Trevor Lawrence, 258 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. He sacked 7 times. They run the ball 59 yards and 19 carries, with Etienne Jr. with 27. Thomas Jr., he catches 90 yards and a TD. Tim Patrick. Man, that's the former Bronco. He was on the right. He was on the solid receiver. He was on the Lions last year. He has the other receiving TD. Armstead has a sack. The only sack. Their kicker misses a field goal. Their kicker misses their field goal and misses an extra point. This was a late one. Let me see when the last points were scored, because I need to see. This was a last-second field goal. Panthers moved to 3-3 by beating the Cowboys 30-27. Cowboys are now 2-3-1. Prescott, 261 yards, 3 TDs, no picks, and he's not sacked. Can't blame him. They do not run the ball well. Williams is doing well. 13 rushes, 29 yards today. Pickens is having a nice year. 9 catches, 168 yards, and a TD. Ferguson has the receiving TD, and number 40 has the other receiving TD. A sack from number 35. Wilson has a pick. Their kicker's 2 for 2 and 3 for 3 on the field goals and extra points. This is kind of a back and forth act. Actually, no. Let me see. They might have been up. No. It was back and forth. Panthers. Bryce Young, 199 yards, 3 TDs, and a pick. He sacked at one time. Dowdle, the former Cowboy, they didn't pay. 30 carries, 183 yards, and he adds 56 yards receiving to lead the way with a receiving TD. They run for 216 yards per team. He had 183 of them. Tommy Tremble, 39 yards receiving. McMillan has 2 receiving TDs on his 3 catches. They get no sacks. They get no picks. Their kicker's 3 for 3 on the field goals, along 55, and 3 of 3 on his extra points. So, making progress for the Panthers. My home state Panthers. It's funny, even though I was in New York and I liked the Broncos, obviously I still like them, but I did not care for the Jets or the Giants, at all. I always couldn't stand the Jets, and the Giants were annoying too, mainly because the fan bases were extremely annoying. Giants had more of a right to be than the Jets did, but anytime the Jets got slightly decent, Jets fans would just be running their mouths. I remember this when the Jets played the Broncos in the AFC Championship. Jets fans are losing their cool. The Jets have the furthest Jets really get outside of their Super Bowl in '69 is leading an AFC Championship at the half. That's the peak, right? And they were winning, and I remember some of my friends talking shit at the half, and then Denver turned it on, beat them 23-10 or some shit. I went to talk shit, and I couldn't get in touch with the people. But anyway, although I was saying, I don't mind the Panthers. Denver did beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl, but it's kind of nice seeing them win too. Anyway, next game. Vegas, the Raiders beat Tennessee 20-10. Tennessee's 1-5. They did fire their coach as well. Raiders are 2-4. Cam Moore, 222 yards, TD, and a pick. He is sacked 6 times for the Titans. Pollard, 31 yards rushing to lead the way. Van Jefferson, 75 yards receiving to lead the way. Martin Robinson has a touchdown. Cam Moore loses 2 fumbles. They get sacks from Simmons, Jones. They get a pick from Barton. Their kicker's 1-1 on his field goals and 1-1 on his extra point. Geno Smith doesn't do much. For the Raiders, 174 yards, a TD, and a pick. He sacked twice. Jonty, I don't know if I'm saying his name right. The running back. The highly touted rookie running back. 75 yards rushing and a TD. Trey Tucker has 70 yards receiving. On 5 catches, Mayer has the receiving TD and 50 yards receiving. White with a sack. Crosby with 2 sacks. Number 96 has a sack. Foto has a sack. Pick from White. Their kicker's 2 for 2 for long 50 and 2 of 2 on extra points. Bucks beat the 49ers 30-19. The 49ers lost their best defensive player or something, or linebacker for the year. They have 90 injuries. The fact that they are 4-2 is surprising. The Bucks moved to 5-1. Mac Jones, 347, no TDs, 2 picks. He sacked 6 times. A lot of sacks going around this week. 54 yards rushing and a TD from McCaffrey. Bourne has 5 catches for 142 yards. They get a sack from Williams. Their kicker's 4 for 4, long of 54, and 1 and 1 on his extra point. The Bucs, Mayfield having a great year here. 256 yards, 2 TDs, no picks, and he sacked once. I still don't understand why the Browns got rid of him or let him go or however it went. Because he had a playoff win with them, and he was solid on them too. He's gotten even better now on the Bucs. I know he went to the Rams briefly, then he was on the Panthers briefly, and now he's ripping it up with the Bucs. And he was still decent. Like, I don't get it. He was decent, and he got them a playoff win. Like, I'd say he was pretty solid on the Browns. I think he had a good year, then kind of an off year, a good year. I forget how it went, but he won him a playoff game, didn't he? Like, what? And the Browns don't win playoff games often these days. In the 80s, they were winning playoff games. And they won a bunch of NFL championships back before Super Bowls were introduced. White, 65 yards, rushing in a TD. Tucker has receiving, in a TD. Rushing, I said it right the first time. A TD. Tucker has a rushing TD. Johnson, 64 yards receiving in a TD. And another Johnson, Tez Johnson, has the other receiving TD. Here come the sacks. David with 1. Dean with 1. Half for Villa. 2 for Diaby. Half for Reddick. A half for Brewer. And a half for Roberts. Picks from Vildor and Dean. Their kicker is 1 of 2. Long 45 and 3 of 3 on his extra points. Bucs are doing well. Packers beat the Bengals 27-18. Bengals 2 and 4. Packers 3-1 and 1. Flacco is on the Bengals now. And Mike Tomlin from the Steelers was saying he didn't understand the trade. I don't know. They probably got him for nothing. I don't know what the trade was for. They didn't trust the other guy, Browning. So, Flacco is hell-bent on playing for every team in the league. I know he's been on Denver. Wasn't he on the Jets? Obviously the Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns. Was he not on another team too at some point? He throws 219 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. He's sacked once. Chase Brown, 42 yards, rushing to lead the way. Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 94 yards and a TD. Hudson has the other receiving TD. Stone gets a sack. The only sack. Stone also gets a pick. Their kicker is 1 of 3 with a long of 45. He does hit his extra point. That would not have won them the game, but still, changes momentum. Packers love 259 yards TD and a pick. He sacked once. Jacobs 93 yards rushing and 2 TDs. Golden 86 yards receiving to lead the way. Kraft has the receiving TD. The sack is from Van Ness. Their kicker is 2 for 2 on his field goals, 3 on extra points. Chiefs beat the Lions 30-17. Lions 4 and 2. Chiefs 3 and 3. A fight broke out at the end of this game. A guy got suspended on the Lions for a game. Goff 230 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. He sacked once. Gibbs 65 yards rushing. Williams has 6 catches for 66 yards and a TD. The Porter has 5 catches for 55 yards and a TD. If you're 5'5", then I'm 6'6". If you're a Slipknot fan, you will know that. It's a great song. It's my favorite song by them, Heretics Anthem. They get a sack from Campbell, a sack from Hutchinson, and a sack from Muhammad. Their kickers 1-1. Field goals 2 extra points. Mahomes, 257 yards, 3 TDs, no picks. He sacked 3 times. Number 10, 51 yards receiving. Rushing, maybe I did screw up the other time. Mahomes also has a rushing touchdown, 32 yards rushing. Hollywood Brown, nice name, has 2 receiving TDs. Kelsey leads the way with 78 yards receiving. Worthy has the other receiving TD. Is Worthy not? No. I thought Worthy was like a cornerback or something. They get a sack from number 90, whose name I'm not going to attempt to pronounce. Their kicker is 1-1 on his field goals, 3-4 on the extra points. The Falcons beat the Bills. Bills, I think, have lost 2 in a row now. Bills, they beat the Falcons beat the Bills 24-14. Bills are 4-2. Falcons are 3-2. They had a bye. And now the Bills at the moment have the Pats, who beat them last week or the week before. Right there, fighting for the division. Jets and Dolphins are. I mean, at least the Jets are. The Dolphins, maybe they, but no, they're both done. Josh Allen, 2 TDs, 2 picks, 180 yards. He sacked 4 times. Cook the third, 87 yards rushing. Palmer leads the way with 60 yards receiving. Knox and Davis have the receiving TDs. They get sacks from Oliver and Solomon. Prater has no attempts at field goals, and he has 2 extra points that are both good. Falcons, Penix Jr., 250 passing, a TD, no picks, he sacked twice. Robinson, 170 yards rushing and a TD. Algier has a rushing TD as well. Drake London, 10 catches, 158 yards and a TD to lead the way. Good game for him. Sack from Alfred, sack from number 90, sack from Roberts, and a sack from Ororo. Malone has a pick, and Alfred has a pick. Their kicker is 1-2, with a long 33. He's 3-3 on his extra point, so their new kicker is missing field goals too. So it's funny. I feel like the field goal kickers now. It's funny actually in that Bengals Packers game. The dude hit a 67-yarder for the Bengals, I believe, but the Packers coach did the classic like Mike Shanahan, icing the kicker. It didn't count, and then he missed. He called a timeout, and then he missed it the next time. But I think it might have went off the sidebar. But still, he booted it, man. Like, these guys, that's the thing. These kickers now will hit these 60-yarders. High 50s are like, whatever. It's weird, though. I was going to say, it's weird. They'll boot these 60-yarders, no problem. Guys, I feel like a guy hits a 60-yarder like once or twice a year, 3 times a year. Back in the day, it was like once every 15 years. Elam did it once. I remember 98. Doesn't happen often, now it does. But the field goals are either booting 60-yarders and high 50s, no problem, or they completely suck, and they're missing field goals left and right. It's weird. The final game here, the Browns, let me see if this was I think this was a last second win as well. It was. There was 4 games that went? Chargers, I believe it. Bears, Panthers, and there might have been one other one. All the second field goals. Bears beat the Washington Commanders, Redskins football team 25-24 to go to 3-2. Washington is 3-3. Caleb Williams, 252, TD, no picks. He sacked 3 times. Swift, 108 yards rushing on 14 carries. Williams has the rushing TD. The running backs like to steal these TDs from these the quarterbacks like to lose these. They're stealing TDs from these running backs. Swift also has it. Well, Swift gets a receiving TD, though. And he leads the way at 2 catches for 67 yards. Sack and a half from Dexter Sr. Robinson has the other half sack. Brisker has the pick for 32 yards. Their kicker is 4 or 5. He misses one. But he hits one when it matters most. And he hits his extra point. Jaden Daniels, 3 touchdowns, a pick, sacked 3 times, 211 yards. Krosky Merritt, 61 yards receiving to lead the way. Daniels has 52 yards rushing. Do I keep saying receiving? I'm all over the place. Rushing. This is rushing. Chris Moore, 3 catches, 46 yards receiving to lead the way with a TD. Ertz has a receiving TD as well. And McCaffrey has a receiving TD. Daniels fumbles twice, loses 1, and Krosky Merritt loses a fumble. A sack from number 4. Reeves has a sack. Half sack from Von Miller. And Armstrong has a half sack. How's Von Miller doing on the sack tip? I always liked Von Miller. He's a Bronco, obviously. Won Super Bowl MVP. I always liked Von Miller. He's got 3.5 sacks this year. Didn't he get 3 in the one game? Or 2? Still, he's producing for them. Because he was on the Bills for a couple of years. And he won another Super Bowl with the Rams. He got traded to the Rams. The Broncos traded him to the Rams. And I think he ripped it up in that Super Bowl too. I can't remember, but he did well. And that's it for this week, right? Did I get all the games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Teams are on buys. Let's see who. I always get asked about predictions. I did in another comment. I just don't do predictions. I don't care to do them because I'm not going to give any kind of insight or anything. Who's on bye? Minnesota and Houston. But I will talk about next week briefly. Just say who's playing who. Steelers and Bengals start the week on Thursday Night Football. Then we got the Rams, Jags, Saints, Bears, Dolphins, Browns, New England, Tennessee, Vegas, KC, Philly, Minnesota, Panthers versus the Jets, Giants at Denver. I don't know why you said at Denver for that one. Indy at the Chargers, Washington, Dallas, Packers, Arizona, Atlanta, San Fran. There's another 2 Monday night games again. Tampa, Detroit, that should be a good one. Houston, Seattle. And the bye teams are Buffalo and Baltimore. But yeah, how's your team doing? Let me know. A lot of last second wins here. But thanks for checking this out.